Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Don Pierce Show, right here at Access Country. Yeah, 1020 right here in the Elk Valley of British Columbia. Hey, today we got super country star, breakthrough artist of the year, Mr. Rob George with us here today, live right here in studio. And we're kind of, well, he's not in the studio, he's on the phone. But anyway, we kind of got sauerkraut over here, going through some questions just before the break. And hey, let's do a couple more sauerkraut.
For sure, for sure. There's one here that the person's in the chat, and I think I'm going to surprise them right now, and I'm going to send them the code. Hopefully, they have Zoom.
Oh, they can get soon.
Yep. Well, hopefully they have it already because it's going to be much quicker if they do. If they don't, not a big deal. But I'm going to let Beatrix ask a question once I surprise her with this. So we're running at a little bit of a delay, so she'll hear it when she hears her name. Beatrix, if you could comment in the chat that you do in fact have Zoom. We will make sure that we get you the code, and we'll let you ask Rob personally. So you'll actually get to see Rob and speak to him personally. Hopefully you got your hair all done up and your makeup all nice and ready to go.
Not like putting someone on the spot.
Yeah.
You know, hey, welcome to the world here. We're only covered Canada, United States, Yukon, Germany, and of course the UK. But now you're going to put someone right on the spot and say, "Hey, welcome to life. We're going to put you on video cam with country artist of the breakthrough artist of the year, Rob George." Like, these guys are their fans, man. Like, not putting them on the spot or nothing. Are you, sauerkraut? Like, holy.
Yes.
I love guys. I really love what you're doing there. Like that. Keeping that so interactive for the fans. I love it. That's very special what you're doing there, and I'm so grateful for all the people listening and being in the chat that you do set up things like that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, so I'm sending her a direct message right now because she does have the chat. I'm just going to send her the code.
Cool.
Not very much at all. So for the direct messages, it's going to come up to the side panel. It will say you have a message, and you'll just kind of see it. Just click on that side panel, and you'll get the number sent there, and you can join in. As soon as I see you join in, I will like your invite, and I'll let you see if you remember the question or not. But this is just another way that we're trying to be a little bit more interactive with our fans.
Where's this lady from?
She's from Germany, actually, believe it or not.
Right on.
Yes. So
cool.
She found us all the way here in Canada, and so I sent her a private message. We'll just wait for her to respond to that. I'll take a look here. In the meantime, I'm going to get on.
Rob. Let me ask Rob a question while we're waiting for her.
I wanted to tell you guys something. You mentioned that I did a lot on the post and on Facebook, which you set up. I mean, I guess that's the most important thing we can do, being thankful for the people listening to our music. And I enclose you guys to that because what you're doing is pretty much the same like I'm doing. We want the people to listen to our songs, to the music that we play. And for that, I think it's very important to get the people to communicate with that people out there, because they are making our music, what we bring out in the world, alive by listening to it. And I think every artist should be grateful for the fans listening to their music, and at least they could like throw out a little thank you on their Facebook pages or putting on a little stickers. That's what I'm doing every day. I set up a post on Facebook every day, and I go through the comments and react on every single one. People say that is making me special, but that's not special. That's just how it should be, I think, because like I said, the people bringing our music alive, and we should be grateful.
Yeah, we do that here. Like we like to interact with our fans and our audience, and this whole interactive radio thing is kind of new in the whole internet radio kind of scheme, and and that's what we do here at Access. We want to bring the fans and, the country stars together,
Yeah.
and have a little communication. And, I got to tell you, Rob, I kind of started to wonder last night if you ever slept. Like, holy man, we got an 8-hour difference. And I got to tell you, I got to apologize because, when we were setting up this interview and setting up this show, me and you were texting back and forth like we do, right? And I told Sauerkraut, man, I feel like an asshole now. Like, this guy's trying to sleep, and then, I'm texting him at 3 in the friggin' morning. And then I get up at 3, and then I get up at 3 o'clock this morning, Rob, and you're still texting. Like, it's like crazy. Like, you're interacting with your fans each and every day. I gotta tell you, I went to your Facebook page, and I went to all your bio pages, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that's got Rob Georg on their page. I'm telling you, you got Spin Doctor's got you on there, your album on there. And if you don't know who Spin Doctor is, well, look them up, because if you're in Nashville, you know who Spin Doctor is. That's for sure.
Absolutely. They are my label for the Music Row radio stations, and I love these guys. Big shout out to Spin Doctors at that point here.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, they're great people down there. Like, and I was kind of dealing with a lot of stuff there, and I'm gonna ask you if I kind of snuck something out of the parlor there, Rob. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about it while we're waiting for this young lady to get on here. But I seen a Facebook post from Spin Doctor and a few others about a little trip to AJ's Bar and Grill you did. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah. That was my last trip before that whole virus thing was coming up. It was early February when Spin Doctors wrote me, "Hey, you should come over for CRS, and you should play some songs in AJ's Bar and Grill on Nashville Boulevard." So that was such an amazing experience playing out there on the Boulevard. Awesome audience, awesome stage.
And some, when you're talking about audience, when you're talking about AJ's Bar and Grill, like, the audience just does not consist of, well, everyday shitheads like me. Like, there's some pretty big people that attend that place to listen to you sing.
Yeah, that's totally true. It was the CRS time. The country radio seminar was going on, and they had a limo service going on from the CRS to AJ's at that time. And we had some really decision makers in the audience. So it was pretty cool. I had for that gig, I had Kristen with me on stage. My producer lady would sing background for me live on stage in AJ's, and also Scott, my musical director of all the instruments tracking, and also a co-writer of mine. He was playing the guitar for me, and then we had Shane, another co-writer of the song Ghost. Like, Kristen and Scott, they are pretty much co-writers on every single song on the album.
Yeah.
And Shane is a co-writer on Ghost and This Old House. And he was in the audience because I told him Shane is living an hour from Nashville. And I told him, "Hey, Shane, do you want to show up?" And he was like, "Sure, buddy, I'm coming. And so we had 3 co-writers together in that room at that night. And it was just awesome. We had a blast there.
I bet you did too, I've been to AJ's myself, and I got to tell you, it's quite just as a tourist, walking in that place, your whole attitude changes because, number one, you know who it belongs to. You know what I mean? It's just that history there. And when you walk in and, you get that big cutout of AJ standing there, and you realize, man, this mother is a big dude, man. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm telling you, I seen some pictures of you in it. And man, the smile on your face would go from the brim of your cowboy hat from one side to the other. Like, I'm telling you, you were having a good time.
Oh yeah, we had that was one of my favorite nights of my whole life, and also of the whole year until now. And that was a night to remember. I tell you, that was awesome.
Yeah, I bet it was. But I'll tell you, did your wife attend that show with you?
She was here running the ranch in that time, but we had a live stream on Facebook from the stage time, and she was live watching us on stage.
Yeah, because that's too bad, because that would have been a hell of a deal for her too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
this whole two-year Winfield that you're on right now. I got to tell you, this story still friggin' amazes me. Guy comes from Germany over to Nashville to create, to fulfill a bucket list, because he want, his family and all the people around his community saying, "Hey, Rob, like, you got to get out there. Your music's good." So, I'm just kind of describing this to the people, Rob. So
awesome.
Rob,
you do great.
Rob, Robbie decides, he's going to get his head together one day, and he had a little incident at the farm, and he needed to go away and get his head together. So he decides, what a better time of my life to go and, hey, spin off a couple of tunes in Nashville, have a break. Then all of a sudden, bingo, he's an international country star. And like we talked last night, man, not bad from a guy from going to shovel shit to international country star, buddy. So, I got to tell you, when you first got off that plane in Nashville, like, did you ever in your life think that you're going to be like the name Rob Georg from Germany at that is going to be so well known in the country music industry?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't expect like anything more than getting a little bit better.
Now I got him froze too. You still there, Sauerkraut? Go ahead, buddy.
I guess
but you're okay.
He's talking to his kids. I was finding myself inside that plane to Nashville, and I had shaky knees, and I asked myself, "What the hell are you doing here?" Like, I was looking at Kristen's website again on the plane, and I was like, "Oh my God, what did you do? What did you do there?"
Well, like I said earlier, like Kristen's got some pretty big friends, buddy.
Right. And I recognized it like on the plane, and I got shaky knees. And I remember I had the first ever vocal coaching lesson with Kristen on a Monday morning. I was flying in on Sunday, and the next morning I would have like the first lesson ever with her. And it was at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I stood there in front of my hotel, and I was video chatting with my wife, with Mel, and I told her, "You know what? I'm so scared. I have shaky knees. I just phone her and will say her that I have a bad throat and can't come," because I was so scared. And then my wife said, "You know what? You did spend a hell of a lot of money to fly into Nashville, and you go there now, and I will be on the phone until you are in front of that door." And that's actually what she did. She stayed on the video chat the whole way in the taxi, Uber, until I was at the door and entering the door finally at Kristen's studio.
Taken for the wife, right?
I heard she's got friends in low places. Is that true?
Oh, that's so very true. You better do what she's saying.
Yeah. We talked to Mel last night a little bit when we were kind of chatting.
Yeah, she might be here later on too. I'll tell you,
Rob. She ain't no different than any other woman. It's the same thing. Look, dude.
Yeah.
You just spend a shit pile of money. You're gonna do it, or you ain't coming home. How's that sound?
That's absolutely her. I mean, do you know her?
No, well, Rob, you said earlier that you're married 20 years?
Yeah, we are together like 20 years and married for 17 years.
Well, buddy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, number one.
Thank you.
Number two, I've been married 35 friggin' years, so, buddy, I got lots on you to teach you yet.
I can see that. I can see that.
Don't worry, Don. I heard the first 36 years are the hardest.
Yeah, but you never get early. I'd go kill somebody and get 20 years and get early parole. But you marry someone. I shouldn't say that. She could have killed me now because I know she's listening to the friggin' show. You got me. You just walked me right into that on purpose, didn't you?
I would never do that.
Yeah, sure as shit you did too. I was gonna tell you. Hey, you got that girl on the phone yet or what?
We've got Beatrix. Actually, she is just calling in right now. So there you go. But perfect timing. And
Cool.
just give her a second. It's going to take her a couple minutes for her microphone to come up here.
To engage, kind of like the
there-
Star Trek. So
Yep. So
Hello?
Beatrix just has to hit her microphone. Her audio's connecting. We're just going to wait for her audio. She got her dog licking her face. There we go. All right,
go.
Beatrix, can you hear
Hi,
us?
Beatrix.
Hey, Beatrice, how the heck are you?
Yes, I'm in northern Germany here and listening to you and of course to Rob. I'm a great fan of him and my colleagues as well.
Yes.
Well,
My
Yes.
welcome
family's
to
got
Canada, girl.
my family's got fur.
Yeah.
Fur
Family's
babies.
got
There you go.
Yes, I have horses and dogs and they are my life. So, but my question to you, Rob, is when will you release your next album?
Oh, that's a very good question. That's a very good question, Beatrix. Well, you or if things would be like planned, I would be in 2 weeks. I would be recording the first 5 songs in Nashville for the next album.
Oh,
But
great.
as you know, the virus froze us totally down,
I know,
and
I know.
Nashville is also closed down, so we had to skip the planned sessions in the studio. It was
Yes.
already booked, but we had to drop that date, and now we're waiting until Donald Trump lets us fly in again from Europe, and we will set up another date and do the next 5 songs for the next album. So originally we planned to come out with the next album late 2021, but it may change into early 2022 or even mid 2022. It's just depending on how things are rolling now.
Yes, I know. Hope it will come out fast.
Yes,
Yeah,
If I
yes.
give her,
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my
Yes,
best.
I know.
First
I
songs
know.
are written. First songs are written already.
I
Very
know.
good.
well, there you go, Beatrice. Thank you for joining us on the show, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
calling in.
Thank
And
you.
welcome to
Yeah.
Canada.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Goodbye, Beatrix.
Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone. Hey, there we go, folks. We had Beatrice there, right out of Germany, calling us right here, asking Rob his, her question. And you know what? Later on in the show, guess what? One more person going to have that chance to ask Rob his, your question right to his face. Yeah, just kind of like I do. So, Rob, got to tell me a little bit about them tats on your arm, buddy. Respect and loyalty. I noticed
Yeah.
that right off the bat because I'm kind of a tat guy myself.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
tell me about that.
that's 2 of my absolute it's going throughout my life. I think loyalty and respect are the most important things to have. I think the modern community has a big lack of respect for each other. It showed a lot when that virus stuff popped up here in Germany. I mean, people were beating up each other for toilet paper. Can you
Toilet
imagine?
paper of all things, eh?
That's
And
crazy.
also beating up like the shop assistants because they ran out of toilet paper. That's just one example where I think we have a big lack of respect in our modern community, and I think this is the worst thing ever what can happen. So we have to find respect for each other again. That's the most important thing for me. This is why I have the respect on the one arm, and loyalty comes with it. Because when you have respect for each other, you're gonna be loyal, and so it's going together. That's when you get your heads together like that. It's one picture. It's respect results automatically in loyalty.
Yeah, like Rob, I'm big on that. Like I'm big on, poverty. I'm big on, the underdog. And, I'm glad to hear you say that because, like like this whole thing about, even this human trafficking and stuff like that, like we're a big part of that, trying to get it stopped. And, we lend a hand anywhere we can to that kind of stuff. And there's so many artists like yourself now are coming to the limelight in doing a lot of things, especially with climate change and all that stuff. Like, where's your goals, and what do you think about that? Greta and all that, coming from your area. Like, what do you think about this whole climate change thing?
I think that's a very special topic, and I think I have to tell you a little bit more about my background. When I left school, I was selling cleaning agents to the car industry. And I had a guy coming to me and said, I have a wonderful idea about a new disinfectant, which is totally biodegradable and effective against all known virus, bacteria, etc. And we would try to get a tablet out of that ingredient powder. And we did that for 3 years in the cellar of my old company. We had a tablet pressing machine from 1945, I guess, and we did our experiments on that, and we got a patent on that stuff in the end. So what I want to say is, instead of going on the streets, demonstrating, dropping Friday school for that reason is a dangerous thing in my eyes. I think the young generation should focus on the things that our generation did build up for them, and make that technologies that we found more effective and more comparable with our environment. So build up new things on the technologies that we found out for them. And they just can do that when they have knowledge and when they attended to school. So I think the situation that they skip Fridays on school is not a good thing. They should really focus on being educated and to get on with the things that our generation did, taking all technologies and getting them on the next level. And I guess that's the way how we could save the environment at the end, but not with demonstrating on the streets and beating people up that go to McDonald's because they don't like McDonald's to sell stuff and things. That's not the right way, and I think that's not a good thing.
Well, yeah, I agree with you there. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I think that the governments themselves are hiding. Like, you can't tell me that in today, 2020, the technology is not there to have clean energy. Like, it's just impossible not for it not to be there. Like, we can put a friggin' guy in the moon, fly it around, live in a space station up in the sky there, but we can't fix our clean energy problem. I think that's just kind of crazy. But anyway, how about another question there, buddy?
Sure, I could do that. Sorry, I'm just talking in the chat here. There's quite a few people here from the Rob Georg fan club. Sorry, before I go any further, what's the proper pronunciation of your last name? Is it hard G or soft? Georg or George?
So in Germany, they would say Rob.
Froze.
Better say that again.
Yeah.
Across the Atlantic would say George, so I'm fine with Rob Georg. That's quite good.
Yeah. So sorry, in Germany, how would they say it in Germany? Oh, he's froze again. Not a problem. So
what are you saying? What are you telling me? I've been pronouncing his name wrong?
Quite possibly. I don't want to insult him by pronouncing his name wrong. He pronounces my name beautifully.
Rob Georg is really fine. It just gives some problems when you search for me on Google.
Yes.
You have to search the George without the E at the end, where you would expect an E at the end in America or Canada.
Right.
There's none. So it's G-O-R-G. That's all.
Yeah. So
what's the proper pronunciation?
The proper pronunciation would be Rob. I pronounce it now German.
Yes.
Rob Georg.
Georg.
Georg. Yeah.
Georg. Okay.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
what
I
they
think I'm going to stay.
what they
You know what
call
I'm
me.
thinking? You know what, Rob? I think I want to keep on the Rob Georg thing because I'd never get that out.
Yeah.
I just don't
I'm
have.
with
I just
you.
don't
I'm
have
with
that
you.
tongue accent. I don't
I'm
have
with you,
that
and I'm
accent.
fine with that.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm not the. Boy, do I feel like an asshole now pronouncing poor guy's name wrong. But anyway, I'll tell you, it's a. Here I gone 2.5 hours on a show here, with an international, international record star, country music star, and I'm pronouncing his friggin' name wrong. Like,
No,
geez, thanks, sauerkraut.
you really don't. Like everybody, also my co-writers would call me Rob Georg. They would never say Rob Georg. So all
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
all good.
All right. Good.
Yeah, well, all I got to say about that is Rob what? Jesus.
So this one's from Eliza Lyons, as well as Barb Basita Minnick. They had a very similar question.
I don't know. Your internet's so friggin' up. You better say that again.
Mine's screwing up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, you
Okay.
sounded like Pinocchio there.
Maybe because the kids were jumping and it might have jostled something here. But anyways, this is from Eliza Lyons and Barb Basita Minnick. They both had a very similar question. And that was, what was your inspiration for making music? Barb's, the only thing that she said after was over the years. So essentially the same question to you there, Rob.
Okay. My inspiration was I had kind of like I told you, I learned an instrument pretty young. I don't know if you know that. I was 6 years old when my parents would send me to play the piano, and I had lessons for that 6 years. And I hated it at the end after that 6 years. I didn't like it much. So I asked them if I could skip it, and they said, yeah, you can, but you got to play another instrument. So I got my first guitar with it when I was quitting that. I guess I was 13 when I got my first guitar, and my grandma would buy it for me. And I wouldn't go to any lessons with the guitar. I just taught it to me myself. And so I love to make music. That's the one part, but just cover songs all my life. The first song I ever wrote, which was a real song, was "Push That Horn," and the inspiration for that song, it was like two things. The first thing was I had in my head was a voice telling me that I need to or I want to tell the world something, and I first thought it was like writing a book or something about cutting horses or that stuff. But I had the urge inside me to tell people about something, and I didn't know where it came from. And then my trainer in Missouri passed away, Dean Terry, and I sat there and wrote the first lines of "Push That Horn." And I thought it might be a poem or something, but till I found out it actually could be a song, and I wrote that melody to it. And this is when also the inner voice, which I had in my mind for so long, totally died inside me. It was like, okay, you know, God, what I wanted to tell you over the years, and that was how it all started. And this is how also my new songs are coming up. I told you I started with the title, different like some from other songwriters. They just pop up inside of me. It's like that inner voice coming back and giving me a title inside my head, and then my brain starts building the song around it. It's weird. It's like somebody's whispering in my ear at that point.
Well, there you go. I hope that answers your question there. But okay, Rob, like we got to kind of move on this story here. But tell me about this new album. because we got to get into this new album here before we run out of time, because I still want to take some more questions from the audience. Radio Cowboy. Let's talk about that album. See, you got it there behind you there. Hold that album up if you can. You know, to the camera there. See, you got it on your piano there.
Yeah. That one.
That's the one, right? Radio Cowboy. Great album. Let's talk about the title track. Radio Cowboy. Where's the inspiration for that song? Because I tell you, I listened to it, and by reading your bio and kind of looking into you, you know, it really kind of sounds like it tells the story of Rob Georg's life.
Yeah, it absolutely does. The idea for that special song, Radio Cowboy, came to my mind last year in May. I was on a trip doing my first radio tour from Denver to Seattle. Back then I was on the chart position 2 in the Western region charts of New Music Weekly. And I tried to get my song up on the first place with that tour, and it worked out at the end. But I found myself driving from Idaho to Oregon, and I was riding that. I drove not big highways. I drove smaller streets to see a little bit of the nature and stuff. And suddenly I was thinking the whole way how much my life has changed in the last 2 years. I would ride the same streets with a horse trailer in the back and horses in the back, and traveling from cutting show to cutting show back then. And I found myself in a smaller car with just the guitar on the back seat. And that was the inspiration for that song, because usually I was used for years driving with a big pickup truck and a maybe 7 to 8 horse trailer in the back, and that changed. It changed so much that I ended up having to tell the story, describing that change from putting the saddle aside and grabbing the guitar instead, and driving from radio station to radio station. And that's the inspiration for Radio Cowboy.
So how did it become the title track? And, you know, like, how did the inspiration for the album title actually come to you? Was that something Christian helped you out with and stuff like that?
You talk with your co-writers, and also I talked to my wife about what name should the album have at the end. But I took the final decision, and we had another idea for the album title was Me or Just Me. And Radio Cowboy was one of the last songs that we wrote for the album. And until that point, when Radio Cowboy was written, we had the idea of naming it Me or even Just Me. And with that song, Radio Cowboy, it came to that point in my head that I said, that title Radio Cowboy, the whole song Radio Cowboy, is so much me and is describing so much of the change that I lived through the last 2 years, that it deserves to be the title song, and it deserves to be the name of the album. And that was in the end my decision. Everybody was happy about it, especially Scott, because he did a lot of the music part. Scott Bradley, a lot of the music part on Radio Cowboy with me.
Yeah, it's a great tune. It's a great album, I got to tell you that. But hey, Rob, I got to take a break here and pay some bills here for a sec. Hey, we'll be right back at Access Country with Rob Georg right after this at Access Radio.